So this week I'm going to be looking at 7 baby steps to investing your money. Now these baby steps are the same as last week's baby steps in that they are small and they are easy, but they are not instant. It's very important to understand that when we're trying to make change in our life, that we have to be consistent and patient. The definition of investment is putting time or money into something to make a profit. So whatever you put your time or money into, and you're expecting a return, you're expecting a profit, that will be classified as an investment. Investing is not gambling, it is strategically done. So buying a lottery ticket is not investing, that's taking a chance. And there's a small chance that you'd win the lottery. And even if you did win the lottery, still, that might not be a good thing in your life. You see, most people are not ready for a lump sum of money. A lump sum of money, a huge amount of money, could actually be the worst thing that could happen to you. It could be the most dangerous or damaging thing to happen to you. The Bible says in Proverbs 13:11, wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time. You see, now this is a principle in the Bible. This is truth. And what many people don't understand is that there's a reason why the Bible says this. So many people are hoping or thinking that if they can just get a lump sum of money, it would solve all of their problems. But the problem is, most people don't have the character or the skill to manage that amount of money, and it damages them. Just like I'm not going to give Daniel £500. It could damage him. All the £500 could be wasted. God is the same. He will not give us more than we can handle. And so God gives us the amount of money that we can handle. If we want more money, the key is not to buy a lottery ticket. The key is to grow our capacity to handle money, to grow our ability to manage money. So if you want to invest your money, if you want to grow your money, then the key today I'm going to give you, the most important key is to grow yourself. Grow your ability to cope with more money. Because you're unlikely to get a lump sum of money, and even if you do get a lump sum of money, do you know what to do with it? Your character must be able to sustain your wealth. That's the most important thing. If you only get one thing from today, understand that you will only have the amount of money you can cope with. So it's very important. If you want financial growth, very important to look at yourself and see what you can learn, what can you do to grow. So our first baby step is to invest in savings. Now we discussed this last week as a part of your budget. Saving is a good discipline, but also savings is an investment. It's the first least risky investment that you can make. Savings will give you a definite return, and savings will give you no risk. Okay, you put your money in a savings account or into an ISA, you're not risking anything. So investing is risky, but this is the least risky. This is the first level of investment that you can get into. So Proverbs 21:20 says, the wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. So baby step number 1 is invest in savings. It's the best way to learn about investing. And if you need help with getting the most for your savings, contact a financial advisor or your bank manager and have a look at how you can get the most interest back on your savings. Baby step number 2 is invest in your future. Proverbs 14:8 says, the wise man looks ahead. The fool attempts to fool himself and won't face the facts. So the next level of investment is your future. And many people skip this level of investment because it seems boring and it's long term. And people want instant results. They want microwave investment. Where can I pop my money in so I can get an instant return? And it doesn't exist, okay? You cannot get microwave investing. It does not exist. Investments are always medium to long term. If you're wise, the next level of investment after savings will be looking ahead. So look ahead to when you're old, when you're in your last days. What do you want your life to look like? Most people don't consider that until it's too late. Most people don't consider old age until they start getting old, by which time it's too late to make yourself comfortable when you're old. Getting old, it's very, very important that you don't end up eating tin cat food or freezing during winter because you haven't made provision for old age. It's very, very important to look ahead to the end of your life. What do you want it to look like? Old age should be the time where you are reaping a lifetime of sowing. Old age should be a time where you can celebrate what you've accomplished in life. Old age should be a time where you can pass on your wisdom to your children and your grandchildren. Sadly, too many people get old and they're struggling, they're suffering. They die from cold or from all sorts of things because they haven't made provision for old age. You're never too young to start making provision for old age. It's never too soon. In fact, it's better. The earlier the earlier time possible, better, because you can put away more for your old age. Old age is when you want to stop working. I have a friend who is approaching 70 and she can't stop working. She still has to go to Tesco every day and take heavy crates and pack them into the shelves because she doesn't have provision. And more people are getting in that situation. Because the retirement age is extended, people tend to be working longer. And to be honest, at that age, you just want to relax, you want to enjoy life, and you should have the money to go and enjoy your life. So look ahead, look far ahead, look to the end of your life. What do you want it to look like? And then plan backwards and start putting away enough money for your future. Get a pension plan, get life insurance. This sort of investment is the sort of investment that most people don't bother with because it is boring. Okay, they perceive it as boring. But this is the most important. Think how you want to live your last days. And then there's medium-term future investing. You can look a little bit more ahead. You can look ahead to what kind of holiday would you like. You can look ahead to your tax and MOT. When is it due? You can look ahead to the things that are going to become due or the things you'd like to see in your future. And then you can think, now, where you are right now, how much do I need to put away on a monthly basis to invest in my future? If you're constantly looking ahead and investing in your future, you're going to have very exciting things to look forward to. Also, you're not going to have any nasty surprises when you get a big bill. Baby step number 3 is invest in delayed rewards. Now what this means is that the worst way to live is in instant gratification. You see, you want, you get. You satisfy yourself instantly. You constantly take your money and take care of your desires on the spot. The sad thing with that is that you will have little bits of contentment, little moments of satisfaction, but you'll never get to grow your money. You'll never get to expand your wealth. You'll never get any more than you've already got, because that's instant gratification. The key, the good investment key, is understand the concept of delayed rewards. Okay? This key will help you build a bigger and brighter future. For example, a simple example is don't eat out. I'm not saying never, but I'm saying if you want to invest your money in something and you need to find the money, when you're walking in town and you get a rumble in your tummy, don't pop into the nearest restaurant or McDonald's, think I'm going to have put myself down, I'm going to not satisfy my hunger right now, I'm going to go home and make a sandwich or cook a meal. It's a very basic, simple example. But that's the principle, that's the concept of delayed rewards. You're sacrificing a little rumble in your tummy because you want to be on the beach in Spain next summer. And you know that if you don't satisfy yourself now, you're going to have a reward, a much bigger, much better reward later on. So as you go about your daily business, and as you're managing your finance, and as you're doing what you do every day, look at your life and see what can I satisfy, what can I not satisfy now, so that I can have a bigger delayed reward. The thing with investing also is that investing should never be done from your budget. It should never be done from money you need. Investing should always be done from surplus money. Because otherwise, what's the point of not paying a bill and investing some money? You're going to get knocked with bank charges on the bill, for example. So you need to find a way to accumulate some money outside of your monthly budget. And then you need to take that money, when you've accumulated enough, and look at investing it. That's another reason why you can look at delayed rewards. Look at, what do I really need that? Do I really have to have that? And then you can not satisfy yourself in some things so that you can get more. There are some things, there are some habits that rich people do that poor people don't. And that's why the rich people are rich and the poor people are poor. And this is one of the things. It's been proven that most rich people buy luxuries last, and most poor people, or average people, buy luxuries first. And that's the whole concept of delayed rewards. Rich people know how to grow their money. They know that luxuries come last. They know to invest before luxuries. They know to save before luxuries. They know to pay life insurance and pension, etc., etc. Whereas people that are average in their finances, or maybe poor in their finances, they feel so frustrated by their situation that as soon as they get some spare money, they lavish on luxuries. Which is great, it helps you feel normal for a bit, but you'll never get past that. You'll always be in that financial situation. So invest in delayed rewards. Romans 5:3-4 says, "And not only that, but we also glory in tribulations, knowing that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance character, and character hope." So even the Bible is saying, suffer a little, because there's great reward. If you can glory in your tribulations, if you're going through a hard time, rejoice in that, because you know that there's going to be a delayed reward. In this case, it is perseverance, character, hope. But this applies to finances as well. Just tighten the belts a little bit, because you know that there's something greater, there's something much more valuable to come. Baby step number 4 is invest in your children. So for those of us that have children, growing and investing and managing money are principles. Principles can be taught to little ones. From as early as their understanding can cope, you can teach principles. And if they grow up knowing these principles are natural to them, then when they are older, it won't be hard work. They won't have to change. It'll just be normal to them. We all live by principles. Either we have clearly decided the principles that we live by, or someone else's principles are influencing us. For example, just turn on the TV. Have you decided not to live a life with debt? Or haven't you made any decisions about that? What are your principles? Because I'm telling you now, the principles on the TV are telling you 12 months, interest-free, cash back, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So those principles are then influencing you. But if you've made a decision, if you decide, I'm not living in debt, then your principles will govern your life. So it's very important to make your own decision and decide what principles you can apply to your finances. And then other people's principles won't be the ones that are influencing your life. We need to teach this to our children, because our children are going to get knocked with things. When we're not around, they're going to get knocked with schools. Not that everything the school teaches is wrong, but there's influence at schools that maybe we don't want. TV will influencing them. Friends, all sorts of things will influence them. But if we've raised them from young with the right principles, then when these other things come along, they're not going to be influenced. Proverbs 22:6, it says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it." Now the interesting thing with that verse is that the word old in the original text actually means stubble. It talks about adolescence. It doesn't talk about old age. This is talking about adolescence, your teenage years. The verse is saying, train up the child in the way he should go. When he's a teenager, he'll not depart from it. So we need to be training them from little. 4, 5 years old, they already need to know about things, principles. So that when they hit their teens and this life is confusing and hormones are raging and all this stuff is going on, they've got their default settings, they've got their principles in place. They can choose to rebel against them, and as parents there's nothing we can do about that, but at least they've got the good grounding, a solid foundation to make wise decisions. Some examples of teaching your children from a young age. The first thing I would recommend is to give them a bit of money so they understand the value of money. Give a child £1, send them to the shop, and they can quickly learn that they can buy some sweeties maybe, but not a toy. They can't buy clothes or shoes, but they can get something for that value. So it's very good to let children handle money and understand the value of money. The next thing you can do is teach them to be generous. Teach them that when they get some money, to give a little bit away. Teach them to save. When they get some money, teach them, always put a little bit into your piggy bank. Always save. Never use up all your money. Teach them to do something to make their money grow. Say they get given £1. Say, now how can you make your money grow? We did this with the children once. It's amazing how creative they are. They could go to the shop with their pound and buy a notebook and decorate the cover and make it beautiful and sell it for £2. Just an example. Who knows what our children could do? So teach them these principles. They'll never lack. If they understand that money's made, not just from their daddy's pocket, they're going to grow up much more entrepreneurial. And most important, teach your children that there are other things that are more important than money. If your children can learn these basics from 3-4 years old, it will just be normal. I caught Laura once when she was little, with a little piece of paper and a pencil with columns in it, and she was balancing her piggy bank. It was the cutest thing ever, but she was really little and she was balancing her piggy bank. She wrote in and out. She had pocket money, sweets, and she was balancing her piggy bank. And she was little. And she just did that from watching me balancing my spreadsheets and doing my books over the years. But it's the principles. And now she knows. She knows the principles of money management, and I don't think she could ever have money without doing that. She also learned the value of debt at a very young age. She was little. Sorry, Laura. And I gave her a little bit of money to spend at a school fair, and she'd spent all her money, and then she wanted to do something else. So she borrowed money from her teacher. And she came home and she said, "Oh, Mommy, you've got to give my teacher £2 because I borrowed it at school." So I sat her down. I think she's feared debt ever since. I said to her, "You borrowed that money is called debt. You need to figure out how you're going to pay that money back, because I'm not paying it back for you." And I put it back on her. I allowed her to experience the cost and the weight of debt. And she was very young as well, maybe 7 or 8 years old. She was very young. But she quickly got the cost and the principle of debt. And so we can teach our children in everyday life. You can teach them how to work with money. So when they're teenagers and adults, they don't struggle. It's just normal to them. Baby step number 5 is to invest strategically. Luke 14:28-29, it says, "But don't begin until you count the cost. For who would begin construction of a building without first getting estimates and then checking to see if he has enough money to pay the bills? Otherwise, he might complete only the foundation before running out of funds. And then how would everyone laugh?" Strategy is a plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim. So first of all, you need to have an aim, to have a strategy. Otherwise, it's not a strategy. And then you need to have a plan. And most people do not have a plan for their finances, and they don't have a plan for investing. So if you want to become an investor, if you want to invest your money and grow, you must understand that the plan is the most important thing. One of the things about investing is understanding that you don't need to make your money grow. You need to create a plan, and then your money will automatically grow. So the key is not, how can I make my money grow? The key is, how can I make a plan that enables my money to grow? Do you see what I'm trying to point out? It's the plan. You need to have the vision. What do I want to achieve with my money? How much do I want to make? Have a vision for what you want to do with your money. If there's no vision, then there's no aim, then there'll be no plan. So it starts with knowing what you want to achieve, and then writing a plan to achieve it. And once it's written, you're more likely to achieve it. So, have a strategy. If you're very unsure about money, then increase your financial vocabulary. Get books. Go to the bank and talk to your bank manager and start to understand all the different APRs, ISAs, and all the different words they use in money. Get yourself educated so you can formulate your plan. Read good books such as Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, Dummy's Guide to Investing, whatever the case may be. Find some good books and learn about investing terminology. Your plan is the one thing that will help you actually grow your finances. So you need an investment strategy. And baby step number 6 is invest in knowledge. So this carries on from the plan. It carries on with what I was saying about educating yourself. Sign up to financial newsletters. Read good books. Read the financial columns in the newspaper and learn to understand them. Read the financial columns and then Google or ask questions until you understand what they mean. If you intend to invest on the stock market, you need to first understand how the stock market works. So you need to really invest in your knowledge. Proverbs 18:15 says, "The heart of the prudent acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge." So there's a lot you need to do before you take hard cash and invest it. And the better you prepare, the more work you put into understanding financial terms, understanding investment strategy, the more you put into it, the more successful you're going to be. There's no point saying I'm going to take £20 and I want to invest it and I'm going to be rich. It's just not going to work that way. And most of the time, investment is obviously better. The more you put in, the more you get out. So take time to educate yourself. Take time to understand how money works and how things work out there in the investment world. And decide what sort of investment grabs you. You know, there's so many different ways to make your money grow. What is the essence of investing? Investing is putting in time or money with an expected profit. That could mean anything. I invest in the stock market. I also invest by buying pedigree cats, which I'm now breeding. Investment could mean anything. Investing can be just simply putting your money in savings. The greater the risk, the bigger the yield or loss. And then the less the risk, the less the yield. So savings is an investment, but it is the no risk investment. So your yield will be small. £100 each in breeding them. Risky because you don't know if they're going to get ill, you don't know if they're going to die, you don't know how many kittens they're going to yield. It's a bigger risk, but it could be a much bigger yield. Buying the cats would give us a much, much bigger income than putting that same amount of money into a savings account, for example. So the more risk you're willing to take, the more money you could make back, but it is a risk. And baby step number 7 is invest in a mentor. Proverbs 13:20 says, be with wise men and become wise. I heard a saying that if you show me what you're reading and who you're walking with, I can tell you who you'll become in 5 years' time. And that's absolutely true. Take a good look at the books you're reading right now and the people that are closest to you. And then in 5 years' time, that's the kind of person you're going to become. If you want to change who you're becoming, change the books you're reading, change the people you hang out with. Find people that will stretch you, find people that will challenge you, find people that are further ahead on the journey than you are, so you can learn from them. A mentor is simply somebody who is further ahead that's willing to give you a few tips along the way. That's a mentor. And a mentor can come in all shapes, sizes and forms. In London, I wanted to be mentored by 2 particular women. They inspired me and I wanted to learn, I wanted to grow, I wanted to be more like them. Not because I wanted to change myself, but I wanted to grow myself. But they were very busy women, so I didn't want to bother them. So all I did was I went to one of these women and I said, is there anything I can do for you? Can I serve you? Because all I wanted was to get into her world. I didn't mind being visible, I didn't mind being a fly on the wall, I just wanted to get into her world and lean and learn as much as I could. And so she said, well actually yes. They'd just moved home and they had lots of boxes that needed unpacking. So I went over to her house and I unpacked all of her children's clothes into the cupboard. Simple, but it got me into her world and I was able to just learn a little bit. And then another day I said, do you need anything? She said, yes, actually I do. She needed her dry cleaning done. Taken from her home, walk to the dry cleaner, do the dry cleaning, take it back. Simple. But again, another opportunity just to get into her world. And people like that, I tell you, you're just in their presence and you learn. You're just quietly there and you just observe things and you learn so much. And so that's what I did. I got into this woman's world and I just did random odd jobs, whatever they needed. I wouldn't have minded, just to get to know them. And now today, this was 10 years ago, I still have access to those women. I can still pick up the phone or email them and I have access to them just because of that short season of serving them. So find a mentor, find someone you admire, somebody that has what you want. And then get in their world. Whatever you have to do, allow them to stretch you and allow them to challenge you, allow them to speak into your life. Now today, I can't tell you where to invest your money. I can't tell you how to make your money grow. What I've tried to give you today is principles. And then you can apply those principles to the specifics. You need to educate yourself. You need to grow in the area of finance. You have to grow your financial vocabulary. You need to start saving little bits of money so that when you're ready to invest, you've got a pot. That's not in your budget, it's separate, it's spare money. You've got a pot of money, then you can take a more risky investment. So start with investing in savings. It's not a risk, you will get some interest, but that's not going to make you rich, it's not going to make you get a lot of money. What you need to do is, as your money's growing, you need to be working on your character. You need to make sure that you have the character to sustain wealth. Okay, people have a lot of money and no character, they end up in very bad situations. Your character is the foundation of your wealth. You need character. So as your money's growing and as you're working and investing your money, work on yourself, work on your character. Educate yourself. As your understanding of money grows, then maybe take slightly bigger risks. And test the waters. When I started on the stock market, I put a little bit of money in just to see what would happen. I was a bit scared, it was all new to me. I played around with that little bit of money, to understand how the stock market worked, how my particular trading account worked, and I put a little bit in because if I lost it, it wouldn't have crippled us as a family. And then I was able to grow and understand a bit more about money, and also my character needed to grow, my purpose for my money needed to be bigger. To have money because you just want to spend it is not a very good purpose. Richard Branson, one of the wealthiest men, he was never motivated by the money. He always had a purpose that he was trying to achieve, and it took money to achieve that purpose. But he never thought, I'm going to become a rich man. Never did Richard Branson find his motivation from the money. So we need to have a bigger purpose than the money, and the money will come. The money always comes, especially when we have a good purpose in life. The money comes, but you've got to step out into that purpose. So as you begin and as you go on this journey of investing your money, even if it's small, make sure you've got a plan and you're being strategic. And you won't see massive increase in a short space of time, but what you will see every year is a change. Every year, you will see that you are more on top of your financial situation. You are more in control of your money than the year before. Every year, you will see that you have a bigger pot in your pension fund or your savings or your investments. Every year, you will see that you've grown in character and wisdom so that you're ready for more money. Every year. And I'm saying year because that's the rate of growth in learning to invest. It's not weeks or months. It takes years. But every year, you will start to become wiser and wealthier. It's all good and well talking about money, but there's one thing that's more important than seeking wealth, and that is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Now the verses preceding that verse talk about our earthly life. It talks about our home and what we eat and what we wear. The verses before that are talking about all our material needs. But then Jesus is saying, after saying all of that, don't worry about what you wear, don't worry about what you eat, don't worry about where you live. Jesus is saying, don't worry about things of the earth. He said, seek first the kingdom of God. Now, what's the kingdom? For some people, that just doesn't make sense. What's the kingdom of God? The way I understand it and can easily explain it is, it's very helpful that we live in the United Kingdom. What is the United Kingdom? It's a physical place governed by particular laws. That's my very simple understanding of a kingdom. United Kingdom is a place with particular laws. The kingdom of God is a physical place with particular laws. Seek first the kingdom means you're seeking that place, and that place is a spiritual place. It's physical, but it's spiritual. Does that make sense? It's a spiritual place that is governed by particular laws. And those laws are many times often opposite to our earthly laws. So seek first the kingdom means you're seeking God's ways. And when you do that, when you seek God's ways first, all the stuff automatically gets added. And I've seen that. It's incredible. When you do God's will, when you seek his ways first, you really don't worry about stuff. You don't worry about money. You don't worry about clothes. You don't worry about what you'll eat. There's a greater purpose to life. How God is saying. And he's saying it why? Because he has a big ego and he wants us to put him first? No, God is 100% satisfied within himself. He doesn't need us. God is saying it for our benefit. He's saying, I want you to prosper. I want you to be wealthy. I want you to have a great life. And the key to that great life is seeking first my kingdom, because I have set up this whole world that is the better place to live. You cannot prosper in life by putting yourself first, by putting your needs first. The flip side of that verse, and it doesn't say this in the Bible, but I think it's obvious, the flip side of that verse would be, if you seek first material and financial stuff, then you lose God and his blessings. Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and you get all the stuff. Seek first the stuff, you lose God and his blessings. It says that in Matthew 6:24, no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. There it is, black and white. It's one or the other. There's no halfway, there's no grey. It's one or the other. And today, my question is, who do you want to serve? Who are you serving? The kingdom or money? Because that's the most important thing we need to establish before we begin any investment. If we are investing and we're seeking to grow our wealth because we have a purpose, because we're seeking the kingdom, I believe you can ask God for guidance. I believe God will give you strategy to grow money. I know he did that for me. But I was first seeking the kingdom and passionate to do things his way. And he gave me keys to growing my money. And my money has been growing. I know I'm not rich because I need to grow myself and my character. But slowly but surely, my money's growing. Slowly but surely, my character's growing. Slowly but surely, my financial vocabulary is growing. But it starts with seeking the kingdom first. And so I really want to encourage you today to make sure that you are seeking the kingdom first. That you are completely consumed by God and passionate about his ways. And everything else will fall into place. And if you're not, it's very simple. Just pray a simple prayer and say, God, I'm sorry. I recognize I'm not putting you first in my life. I want to put you first. There. Very simple. He will guide you. He will take you.